Yeah, so I want to talk a bit about how to find serenity. Serenity, right? In in all of life's situations and circumstances. For example, the C-suite, leadership position, when things go sideways, when things are going well, let's talk about serenity, okay? Because serenity is something which can oftentimes seem so far away. It's something which can be thought of a state of perfection where all things are going well and things are just kind of like just chill. But serenity, it's something which we have to find our way to, that we can find our way to, no matter the situation at hand. Now, serenity, when I think of it, is a state of inner knowing and calmness that comes from that inner knowing. When the waters are calm, right? When you're on the sailboat and everything's gliding along smoothly and the breeze is just fluttering on the face and the shoulders and the sounds are calm. That's a state of a serenity. So how do we get to that state in our work, in our businesses, in our day-to-day lives, right? How do we find serenity? So say for example you're in a position of leadership, you're in a professional setting or you're in a setting which could easily be termed as stressful or high performance or challenging or right. Serenity in that situation is the state of mind and being where you feel like you're in control. And even if you aren't in control, you know that there's something inside of you that isn't going to get knocked over. It's like being a tall oak tree amidst a strong gale compared to a small twig in that same small gale being knocked over. So we need to build systems inside of ourselves that we aren't getting knocked over, so that we aren't getting blown side to side by every emotion, every experience, every situation at hand. Because this can happen. It can happen a lot. And particularly if we are particularly reactive or sensitive to our emotions or the emotions of other people, we may find ourselves becoming blown over, by a storm and not being that strong oak tree. So, what I want for everyone is to be that strong oak tree, no matter what the situation or circumstance. You know, Even if, say, you're speeding, the police pull you over, you want to find serenity in that situation too, like I have before. um, so serenity is this place of knowing you're okay and knowing that the situation and circumstance at hand is not overwhelming you. Say, for example, the person's shouting at you and everything's going wrong. Serenity is just saying, I understand. Thank you for sharing. Let's find a path forward. And not going into reaction and having a response back, but just being like, okay, it's cool. Let's find a path forward. And serenity is quite disarming. When you find serenity and you can bring serenity into your business operations and dealings and relationships and your day-to-day life, serenity is quite disarming because anyone that you engage with from a place of serenity, they're going to think, wow, this person seems to really have got it figured out. This person seems to be unshakable, and it brings to you a level of confidence and it confers a level of respect from others and from the world that may not be there if we're not in that state of mind and consciousness. So, what's some keys to serenity, right? A key to serenity that I use is, of course, meditation. Being able to find that quiet place inside, no matter the situation, condition, or circumstance, and being able to be okay with what's going on and remain in a centered state, in a balanced state. And it's from that place where we can go out into the world and take action in the world in a harmonious way. The goal, the key, is to be able to bring a level of harmony to any environment which we find ourselves in. And that environment can be the inner environment. It can be stuck in traffic, it can be in a supermarket, it can be, for example, boarding a flight, it can be in a business meeting, it can be in a presentation, it can be in a pitch to investors. Serenity, finding that jhum, that stillness. And then from that place, when there's no chaos and the emotions are calm and the mind is clear, we can then bring our best to the situation at hand. Now, meditation, I mentioned before, is very powerful for finding serenity because it's the process that we go through to bring the mind into coherence, into stabilization. We take a step back from all the stimulus and noise and reactionary parts of life, and we just come in and we focus on the breath, on the nose and the heart. We focus on listening to what thoughts come to the mind. We seek to understand what wants to come through us in a harmonious way. When it comes to this in relation to others, it gets very interesting because, say for example, you're in a conflict and a person's very, very emotional. Serenity says don't react, don't feed that person's energy, don't feed that person's response or behavior. Focus on yourself, focus on what's going on inside. Seek to stabilize the self. Use breathing, right? Always watch the breathing to see where you are, to see if you're in serenity or out of serenity. If the breathing is calm and stable and harmonious, you're probably in serenity. If the breathing is shallow and in the chest and tight, you're probably out of serenity. So we want to always find our path, our way back to experiencing serenity. And with that, we can take steps and move through the world in a harmonious way. And the beautiful thing is as well is that the world responds to that. People start smiling. Negotiations and conversations go well. Opportunities emerge unexpectedly from a place of serenity. Because we haven't got to force or fight all of the time. Sometimes we're required to force, sometimes we're required to fight, and that's okay, but it hasn't got to be all of the time. We can use serenity as a tool in our psychological, conscious, call it spiritual toolkit that we can use to go out into the world from a place of ease and calm. So something I do quite often if I'm in a high stakes situation, say an investor meeting or a talk or a client something, or dealing with a position of authority, I just notice what I'm feeling in my body. Say for example, I'm feeling some stress or some fear. I just notice that. And I just tell myself, hey, I'm feeling some fear, some anxiety, some stress, some anger, some frustration. And just with the act of noticing it and sub-vocalizing that in my mind and making myself aware of that, I take a deep breath. And with that breath, with that acknowledgement, I'm able to let go and move past that experience, because our emotional experiences really are just chemical reactions in the nervous system. So once we're aware of that, call it a simulation, right? The mind is perceiving an experience. The mind then tells the body to secrete certain hormones or neurochemicals into the bloodstream. The nervous system picks up on that, and then you feel something in the body. So this is just a response, but this response can be turned on at a moment's notice, very, very fast. So the key is just to catch it. And when you notice yourself going to that place of stress or anger or frustration, whatever it may be, or overexcitement, for example, just catch it. Okay, I'm aware I'm feeling this. Take a deep breath. Or if you need to, take, for example, 3 deep breaths. And then what happens is that we come to this place of acknowledgement. And through that, and through doing so, we can come back to a place of serenity. So you can try this in a high stakes situation. You can try to have a go at watching what you're experiencing, what stories the mind is playing out, which chemicals and hormones are being released into the bloodstream, interacting with the nervous system as a result of the story that's playing out, right? We can also watch the responses of others in relation to our serenity, okay? And it gets very, very interesting. It gets very, very, very interesting, because the more calm and stable and balanced and aware that we become, the world changes around us. No more arguments, no more anger, no more frustration, no more chaos. Things just become more chill. But equally, it's a question of whether we are ready and willing to be able to receive and to experience things being more chill, because many of us, many high performers that I work with, even myself, we're either current or recovering intensity addicts. So we love the feeling, the sensation of things being full on and intense and hardcore and crazy, and a lot's happening, and we're feeling and experiencing and processing so much, and it can feel exciting in some sense. So finding serenity is a different operating model, a different modus operandi for life and living. And we can come to this place and do this work and express ourselves in life and in the world from this place. And things get easier. Things become more gentle. Things become more smooth and natural. And we notice that the things that used to cost us lots and lots of energy start costing us less. The things that used to cause us stress and frustration just don't anymore. The people who we are interacting with who used to trigger us and frustrate us, they just don't anymore, because we start becoming more aware of what we're experiencing, and we just breeze through that experience. We let go and we come back to serenity. And then when we add tools like heart rate variability, right, and we can track the nervous system response, and we can see which events, which experiences are causing us stress, which are not causing us stress. We can put ourselves in the same situations again and notice that we've been able to maintain that serenity. Okay, so have a go with this. Have a go at finding serenity no matter the condition, situation, or circumstance. Bring it to your relationships. Bring that easy, calm awareness to all aspects of your life, and Allow yourself to be amazed, surprised, satisfied with the results. So meditation is a great pathway to this. The breath is a great pathway to this. Presence and acknowledgement is a great pathway to this. Give it a go and see what happens. Okay? Thank you.